Hello and welcome to Branding for Impact, a podcast of bite-sized branding and business tips to help you make an impact your own way. I'm your host, Roseanne, designer, dog lover, Hong Konger, and founder of Prism Creative. Join me as we talk about all things branding, marketing, and myth-busting when it comes to building a business with impact. Whether you're an NGO, social enterprise, or a business ready to create a bigger purpose, this is the podcast for you. So I get asked time to time, what's the return of investment of branding? Like, why do I have to invest in something that I don't know whether or not will actually give me a return? And that's a really good question, because branding is very different to marketing, where you can measure the reach of a campaign or see a direct relationship between sales and your marketing efforts. But you see, that's exactly where our mindset needs to shift around branding. Because just like dating, it takes a solid foundation and a lot of small but instrumental moments to get where you want to be. It's a commitment, and we're playing the long game here. In this episode, we're going to talk about how the process of attracting someone to your brand, making that sale, and keeping them as a loyal customer or fan is really a lot like dating, especially through dating apps today where the first connection is online. Now, first of all, of course your job is to woo them. You've got only a few seconds to get their attention, so present yourself in the best light. Be interesting. Pique their curiosity. You want to stand out in a crowd of vanilla. So imagine your brand has a dating profile. What would you put on it? Who are you? What are your interests? Perhaps one funny thing about you that would be a great conversation starter. You know, it's not really about being the loudest one in the room, but really speaking to the person on the other end in a way that's relatable and shows off your personality. Number 2, be transparent and honest. So you guys have a good conversation going, there's good banter, and you're ready for a first date. Don't be nervous here. Just be authentic and be yourself. Be clear about what your intentions and goals are, what you're in for, and hopefully they'd like to come along for a ride. Now, obviously, everyone has different life goals and expectations on dating, but just make sure your values are communicated and that they align with action. Don't try to be something that you're not. This goes the same for brands. Live and breathe your values. Brands nowadays have a lot of keywords that they associate themselves with, I'm sure you know, like ethical, sustainable, women-led. Well, other than talking the talk, are you really walking the walk? And throughout it all, have you been consistently showing up and communicating that? Now, on the topic of communication, it really puts me off when I'm on a date and the other person just babbles on and I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Which brings us to number 3. Don't be a prick. Listen to the person on the other end. Don't just talk about yourself and how awesome you are, which I'm sure you are. Really listen to what their life goals are, what made them who they are today, what they love, what they hate, what their biggest challenges are. Just like how a good partner is a good listener, a good brand listens to what their audience actually needs. This is why putting yourself out there and talking to people is actually a really important step at the beginning of building a brand, and all the way throughout to keep yourself in check. You want to know that what you're putting out there is going to be well received and reciprocated. I can't stress the number of times where I've been in a meeting, and by the end of it, the client, or really by then soon to be client that never happened, realizes they actually have no product to sell, because they don't even know if the market wants it or not. So hopefully you're having a good time and you feel that this could actually go somewhere. You've gained their interest, you've shown potential, and you've been very patient on listening to their needs. Now, I don't know about you, but right after a first date, I'm not going to ask if they want to meet the parents right away, right? You don't want to scare them away. You just want to focus on the next best step. Say today you went on a coffee date, next time maybe it's a dinner date, and then maybe you bring your friends along to, casually suss this person out. Branding is the same. It's really about building a relationship with your audience so that each time with each interaction, they put a little bit more trust in you. So just focus on selling the next best step. If they clicked on your Instagram page, great. Hopefully you get a follow. Think about what you want them to do next. What is the call to action? Keep building on these small steps until you reach that sale or you take that donation. Really focusing on building relationships is so important to keep people engaged. So think about what's going to keep them coming back for more. Point number 5. How do you keep them committed? Here's a tip for you. It's so much easier to continue nurturing relationships rather than constantly trying to find new ones. So think about what's in it for them. Even after you've closed that sale, how do you keep the conversation going? Now, whether that's posting content that you know will be helpful, maybe it's inspirational, educational, whether that's reaching out to them for a review and giving them a small gift in exchange, stay in their peripheral vision. Don't ghost them after you've got what you needed from them. Keep nurturing your relationship with them. By now, they probably can't wait to tell all their friends and family about you, how you've come into their life, whisked them away, and made their lives better. You want to have a partner who is proud of you, who would talk about you and always can't wait to spend time with you. You want to make every interaction with you something they look forward to. And your brand should be no different. And finally, you want them to grow with you. Now, this is the most important step to brand building. You're not putting in all this effort for a fling. Keep supporting them on their good days and bad. Just like relationships, people evolve as we progress through life stages. So think about how you can continue supporting them as they evolve and grow into different roles as well. So I'm sure you've noticed by now, brand building really actually is relationship building. When we focus on the bigger picture, it suddenly makes a lot more sense to see branding as a holistic experience, right? Okay, so to sum it all up, how is building a brand actually like dating? Number 1, sound interesting. Imagine your brand on a dating app. What do you want out of your relationship with them? Number 2, be authentic. Don't sell one thing and be another. Align to your values and follow through with actions. Number 3, listen to your audience. Don't just go me, me, me. Really listen to what their needs are. Number 4, just focus on selling the next best step until you reach your goal. Number 5, you want a long-term commitment. So think about what will keep them coming for more. Build trust, communicate, show up. Don't ghost them. Number 6, you want them to tell all their friends and family about you. And lastly, you want to be able to grow together with them. Because just like in relationships, people evolve and we want to make sure that we're able to progress and evolve with them through their life stages. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you found it helpful, I'd really appreciate if you could share it with your colleagues, friends, anyone who might benefit from it. And it would really mean the world to me if you could leave a rating or review here. Please remember to hit subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode of our bite-sized branding and business tips for impact. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.